Mobland Episode 6 Recap and Ending Explained. Are Seraphina and Brendan dead? Mobland's 5th episode focused on Tommy's wake and funeral, which was attended by Conrad, Mave, Kevin, Bella, Eddie, Harry, and January. The Harrigans and Harry were expecting a bloodbath, but Richie prevented that, and the event was held in a fairly calm manner, with only Eddie and Maeve determined to rile up Vron, and when the old-timer clapped back at Maeve, the old-timer decided to turn the heat up immediately. However, Kevin calmed Maeve by putting sleeping pills in her champagne, and Conrad told Eddie to go home.At. That point, Richie made the decision to confront the obvious. He was aware that Valjon was a scapegoat who had been set up by Harry to keep Eddie from receiving the justice he deserved for Tommy's death. However, he was prepared to overlook Eddie as long as he never left his home again. Later on, when Maeve came to her senses and remembered that she was roofied right after Vron insulted her, she seemingly gave Paul the green light to remotely detonate Vron's car, thereby killing her. Episode 6 of Mobland is all about the implications of that particular deed, and it also exposes what Seraphina and Brendan are up to with their Ruby company. So, let's talk about it. Why did Mave strike a deal with Richie? Seraphina and Brendan sit down at a diner in Antwerp to negotiate with Samuel and Leonard. Seraphina wants to ensure that the person selling them the rubies doesn't take her and Brendan for granted, so she begins aggressively and doesn't stop even when Brendan tells her to stop because he fears she will ruin the business deal. Seraphina believes that both Samuel and Leonard are dubious, especially after Leonard states that the exchange will take place in a remote location. Seraphina's gamble pays off, as Leonard agrees to do the transaction on Seraphina's terms, so she calls Lorenzo, the only man in Antwerp who can arrange a team of armed guards in a matter of hours, after she leaves the city after a certain amount of money has been deposited just to make sure she is serious about the whole thing. She is certain that Leonard will agree to her terms, which are that the exchange must take place without the deposit money. Seraphina uses this costly arrangement as a justification to increase her profit-sharing percentage from 75% to 90% because Lorenzo's fee will be paid out of her own pocket. Brendan accepts to receive very little benefit from this entire situation since he is so eager to win Conrad over. Back in the Cotswolds, Mave devises a scheme to sacrifice Brendan and Seraphina in order to defeat Richie in the war. Maeve's ideas scandalize Conrad, who is okay with the loss of a lady and a kid. Despite this, does Mave still phone Richie and order him to kill Seraphina without touching Brendan's balding head? Not at all. Why does she do it, though? It's clear. Mave despises Seraphina and adores Brendan. Seraphina is more important to Conrad than Brendan. Conrad will stop fiddling with his thumbs and might blow Richie to atoms with a rocket launcher or whatever else that will satisfy the situation if he finds out that Richie killed his daughter, Conrad and Maeve's spirits. Therefore, Mave is prepared to put Brendan's life at danger and break up with Seraphina. Richie accepts the bait without inquiry and gives the Mexicans the command to pursue Brendan and Seraphina in Antwerp. I have some questions now. Is there really any reason why the Harrigans should pursue Richie? They killed Vron and Tommy even though they had no justification for doing so. Instead of going to Richie's house and killing him, why is Mave still handling this like a game of chess? Furthermore, Richie didn't know where Seraphina and Brendan were until Mave told him.